What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Streckbein, joined once again by the one and only Jacob Punturi. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And as always, you can find all of our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers rookie class took the field today, first time in 2025. And man, I got to say, rookie minicamp is the most boring thing to watch in the world, but it's the beginning of we're back. Football is here. I get to watch things get done. It is exciting. It is a time where you say, that guy looks big. It's a big guy about 40 times because he didn't see it coming. But there's still plenty of takeaways. We're diving into that. Omar Khan addressed the media today in a somewhat surprise press conference to explain the George Pickens trade, explain where the Pittsburgh Steelers are going from here and everything that they were going on because, well, he was the leader of the smoke show throughout the entire process of, no, we're not getting rid of George. We're never getting rid of George. And then they got rid of George. We're diving into that plus more. It's a good one here in the Berg. It's always good to be back in football. We're heading into the weekend. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling good, man. You took the words right out of my mouth with how you opened. The first thing I wrote on my notebook here is we back for a rookie minicamp here. But yeah, end of the week here. Love a Friday feeling. Happy to be chatting football with you again, buddy.
Yeah, as always. I'm excited to dive into the rookies, and the rookies are a lot of times boring, but you find some gems. I think you notice some things right off the bat. Like you knew Jaylen Warren was going to make this roster the second he was on the field. You're like, okay, good. Although I think it was Mateo Durant was his name. I could be totally wrong on that. Out of Duke, I thought he was going to be a dude. Didn't turn out to be a dude. You saw Jonathan Ward last season kind of be the guy that veteran, but this guy deserves a spot. You got to bring him back. The Steelers need a running back. That's what they're looking for. I think this year there's a couple of them. Obviously, all eyes on Will Howard in this one because the Ohio State quarterback, well, he goes out there and we finally get to see what he does and if he's the franchise. And I mean, that was the beginning of every rep. He dropped back. First off, I don't think I saw Will Howard throw a pass today. Don't think I saw it one time. I don't think he threw a pass. I think it was all, he just would drop back and go. And that was it. And I was like, wow, dude, Hall of Famer right there.
Progression work must have just been elite.
Elite progression work. That's all the Steelers have. That's all you do. And that is rookie minicamp to a T. That is how, like, out in front beginners, this is, it's crazy. I will say Will Howard was the first guy I saw today because he was the first guy I was looking for. And my exact response was, it's a big quarterback. It's a big quarterback. Kenny Pickett was not a big quarterback. Mitch Trubisky was not a big quarterback. Mason Rudolph is not a big quarterback. It's been a minute since he walked out there and said, big quarterback. Justin Fields was a big quarterback. He was a guy that you looked at and said, oh, yeah, you're a big boy. You're a big boy. Will Howard's the same way. He had this to say afterwards, which I think if you're going to talk about Will Howard, you could say he looks big all day. I haven't seen him throw a pass. What I will say is that we got to talk to him in person for the first time, and I think everything matches up. Let's listen.
What makes the Steelers a perfect fit for you? What is it?
I think everything. The culture. It just fits. I feel like who I am as a person and who I am as a player. It's close to home. I got a lot of connections to Pittsburgh. Coach T. I wanted to play for him. Arthur and Coach Arth. I knew Coach Arth. He recruited me at Akron, and one of his players from John Carroll coached me at Ohio State last year, so I got a lot of connections with him. And it's just everything kind of fell into place, and as the draft went on, you never know where you're going to end up, but you keep a little spot in your heart for where you really want to go, and I had a little soft spot for Pittsburgh. I was hoping in my heart that they picked me, and I know on that Hey Rookie show they showed a clip of me begging Pittsburgh to pick me just because it's a long 3 days and you never know what's going to happen, but I'm blessed, man. I could not be in a better place, and Pittsburgh is going to get my all every single day.
Shout out to Will Howard, man, and shout out to me for never remembering to take out the outro videos before we toss them into StreamYard. But it is what it is. It's a Friday here. We're diving into it. You just heard Will Howard for the first time. I heard him. I was there. I was obviously standing right behind Richie Walsh, who asked that question. Will Howard seems to be a guy that is the professional quarterback that you're looking for. The Steelers just got rid of George Pickens in an effort to finalize the clean the ship, get rid of the ego atmosphere, culture in the locker room. He fits the bill. I don't know. Is that enough though? Like, is that enough to get excited at this point to say, hey, we're latching ourselves to it? But at the same time, like, how good it's a good starting place. We've been at worse. The Steelers have been in worse spots to start this one off with some rookies.
Yeah, but I agreed completely. Am I excited by just seeing him on the field talking to reporters? 100%. I think I love hearing good things. It seems like it was obvious how excited he is to be a Pittsburgh Steeler and to be, trying to earn a spot here. So that was really cool. I love seeing the excitement there. What I am not super sure of yet is, does, just because he's a fine, upstanding gentleman mean that he's going to be a franchise quarterback? No, yes. But I mean, hey, I love watching a guy go through those elite progressions early on. It's nice just getting a feel for him, getting a little rapport with him. I'm sure it was nice for you just to kind of be like in his presence and kind of figure out like what he kind of gives off. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things about the characteristics, the locker room style that he's going to bring that is exciting. And since it's rookie, mini camp, like, let's get excited over some minute things. Yeah, let's get excited about Will Howard being just a nice guy.
That's where we're at. Like Will Howard's going to win everybody over before he ever throws a football in Pittsburgh. And I think that's very okay. Like I'm okay with Will Howard being the nice guy and finding the love from everybody. And, when he throws a football, I'm excited to see it. But this is exactly what you said. Like right now it's about getting excited about who these people are, who these players are. And, Caleb Johnson excited me. Derek Harmon didn't have much to say, but the dude like kind of spit grit. That was, I looked at it and said like, oh, Derek Harmon, man, that dude's a guy that he will not take shit. And that's okay. That's what you're looking for. And look at if Will Howard's going to be just the nice dude, the win it, Jack Sawyer said on Ben's podcast that if he's got to turn it on and be a badass, he could. And I think that helps a lot, but I'm all about loving a dude for his personality right now. We'll get into it, but good dude. Big dude. Those are my two notes on Will Howard. I got some good notes, though. I'm going to be honest.
All right. I'm happy to hear it.
I walked into mini camp, turned the corner. First player I saw outside of Will Howard was Wyatt Black. And that dude, I mean, Derek Harmon's a big boy. Cam Hayward's a big boy. I've seen Isaiah Loudermilk, big dude. Yeah, Wyatt Black is massive. There's no chance, okay? There's no chance that guy does not play nose tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers because he looks like a nose tackle. He looks like the Vince Wilfork rookie year guy. Like he's not as big as Vince Wilfork because he hasn't been introduced to the hundreds and hundreds of Uncrustables that he's going to eat over his NFL career. Like that's where he's young. He's young and he's still got some to build on, but he is a massive human, like absolutely ginormous human being. I'm excited for him. Who else is a big dude? Because this is who the big dudes of rookie minicamp. That's who you're impressed by, dude. Caleb Johnson. If Caleb Johnson's listed at 224, I think 225, something like that.
Yeah, 224.
If he's 224 pounds, Najee Harris had to be 260. 250. Massive. Caleb is massive, my friend. Like absolutely massive. Nowhere near as big as Najee was, which makes me so excited because this is the first time where it's like, dude, 225-pound running back that looks small is exciting, right? Like very, very exciting. I will say that I'm not allowed to give up what's going on, but Eddie Faulkner, man, he looks like he's got these guys locked in, and I'm pretty excited for it. Those are my big guys. My big guys are Caleb Johnson and Wyatt Black.
I mean, How can they not be? I was I don't know if you were in the scrum for whenever Caleb was talking to people, but he gave this sick quote about how he wants to be like rookie of the year, all pro, Super Bowls, all kinds of things. So I mean, things to get excited about early on. It's a guy who's here and is already, as motivated as anyone else on this team, let alone the rookie class, to come in and be this jazzed up to want to make a difference for the Steelers. That's exciting for me.
I agree. All right. So this is my sleeper to make the team. This is where we start here. My sleeper to come out of rookie minicamp and get an invite. I got two guys. The first one's a 4-year running back. Last played for, I want to say it wasn't the 49ers. No, maybe it was Indianapolis. Yeah, Indianapolis that's the spot. Last played for Indianapolis. Pittsburgh guy or Pittsburgh ties somewhere. He's close. Went to Ohio State. Obviously, everybody loves Ohio State and Pittsburgh and vice versa. Trey Sermon was there. Was surprised to see him there. Was very surprised. But he's only 26 years old. He's still wearing 27. He like when I looked at him, I went, oh, Jonathan Ward's at rookie minicamp again? That's weird. And I was like, holy crap, that's not Jonathan Ward. Who is that guy? Trey Sermon, he looks like an NFL vet, which is, that's what you're looking for. The dude's got 500 yards and 3 touchdowns in his NFL career, like absolutely nothing to work with. Mm-hmm. But I do think that it sparks the conversation of if you're bringing a guy in that you liked coming out of Ohio State, are the Steelers, is that a name? In my eyes, he looks professional. He looks like a dude. Last year you saw Jonathan Ward. Immediately you're thinking, yeah, that guy's going to make the team. Like that guy, he's sharp enough. He knows what he's doing. That's what Trey Sermon looks like in day one. And I got to ask the question, like, is that 26 years old? Maybe you don't have much, but you're a special teamer. You played all 17 games in the league last year, and maybe you could be a running back 4. I mean, in my eyes, enough to move on from Cordero Patterson, but I'll ask you the same question. If you didn't even see him, and it's a question of the outside, like how easy should it be to replace that guy?
I think that should be incredibly easy. I don't think that should take much convincing whatsoever. I think maybe if Noah slaps some pads on, he could probably get Cordero Patterson cut. And it's not like, I don't understand the fixation with keeping him on the roster. I understand and respect everything he accomplished in the NFL, an incredible returner, gadget specialist, all these things. I'm not trying to knock Cordero Patterson. And I know, talk about big men, that is an intimidating man. So I'm not trying to aggravate him in any sort of way. But yeah, I see someone as like Trey Sermon as a great replacement option, because you just need someone else who could come in as an injury replacement, play special teams, like you said. I think you can figure out the kick return and punt return situation, especially with the rookie that they brought in this year, whose name is escaping me at the moment. But they have other options to address the return game as well. Yeah. So I think, find any excuse to get Cordero off this team if you can.
Yeah, look at dude. I agree. Like that was my immediate thought is go get a guy in Trey Sermon that I think I'm excited for. I don't think he's, again, like rookie minicamp is, you're looking at what's big. You want to know what the biggest, flashiest part of anything in rookie minicamp was, hands down, without question, DJ Thomas Jones, who's a fullback out of Southern Alabama, I believe, playing fullback, and the Steelers having packages where you're going, dude, that's a fullback. That's a fullback right there. I see him. He's not even lined up in the fullback position, which means they're thinking about it. Like they're really thinking about what they can do with. That's the, without question, most exciting thing that happened today. So you're looking for smaller things, stuff that you could grab onto early to hopefully take into OTAs and minicamp, and the possibility of replacing Cordero, who I don't know is going to show up for OTAs because he didn't show up last year for OTAs. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you consider it if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers? Like you're saving $2.5 million. So you should be moving on from a guy in Cordero Patterson. And Trey Sermon to me is a name that, I mean, maybe I will say that he just looks smooth. Caleb looks that's the only downfall of Trey Sermon right now is last year, Jonathan Ward was competing with nobody. It was just like, bunch of tryouts, and then Jonathan Ward, who's obviously done this before. This year it was like, Trey, buddy, you look okay, but Caleb Johnson's here, and he clearly looks way better than you. Like it's clear as day that you are that you are the guy. My other guy is Mickey Victor, who played for Mikey Victor, I think his name is, who played for the Patriots tried out for the Patriots last summer, didn't make the team, comes from, I believe, Southern Alabama as well. I think he's another Southern Alabama guy. He's 6'3", and he looks all of 6'3". I'm kind of about him. He's a name to start watching. I have nothing on him outside of his length because they did literally nothing. But, I mean, if you get an opportunity, I'd bring a 6'3", dude. I'd bring a guy like Mickey Victor on, and I think he was the YE Black stood out. Caleb Johnson stood out. Everybody. He's the one guy that was like the undrafted, not their guy that you're going, oh, who's that dude? Because he's very big if he could put it together. Mikey Victor, you know anything about him?
Not too much. It's Alabama State I'm looking at right now on the Steelers roster camp invite list. But I don't know much about him. The size is intimidating. The first thing it makes me think of is someone like a Corey Trice or someone in the bottom of the depth chart. Is one of their jobs in jeopardy, or could he come in and impress even more so? I'm always enamored whenever someone in the secondary has length and is athletic. So if he's showing any signs of that in the beginnings of rookie camp, then come on, keep on coming and let's show me what you can do.
I'm all about it. He was a guy that stood out. I'm telling you, though, DJ Thomas Jones is the guy right now. Fullback, get excited about a fullback. I'm always excited about a fullback.
I can't.
Always.
Last year, I got excited when training camp rolled around because they were deploying that kid in training camp, and I can't get my hopes up again, Noah. Not this soon.
I agree. But I'm telling you right now, $30,000 is think about first off, how nuts is this? The Steelers' biggest signing bonus ever to an undrafted free agent is to DJ Thomas Jones, who's a freaking fullback. $30,000 guaranteed. Most teams on average sign like at least a guy to a $200,000 signing bonus, $100,000 signing bonus, being like, we got our guy. Can't believe this dude fell out. Beanie Bishop didn't get $30,000, but they gave it to a fullback. I'm fired up about it. $30,000 seems like a lot of money for a fullback. I'd be pumped. I'd be super pumped if that was the case. All right. After rookie minicamp ended, Omar Khan surprised us with I don't know, a press conference that I didn't see coming. I didn't think the Steelers were going to. So my start for the Omar Khan thing is this. Omar has said literally nothing all offseason. He has perfected the art of not saying a word. It's not even like saying things that don't matter like Tomlin does. It's legit saying nothing. And I've been looking at it going, all right, like Omar, dude, love you. Great guy. Always fun to have you around. You know, super grateful to be able to be in your presence. You're literally, I'm not here for anything. This is pointless. Today, they sent him in to address the George Pickens thing. And I'm going to be honest, he opened up a little bit. And I think it was very important. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Omar Khan has literally been running the charge of we are not trading George Pickens. I don't even know why you would ask the question of us, but believing that even trading George Pickens could be a thought, because we would never trade George Pickens. That's been the sentiment from Pittsburgh throughout the entire offseason until they finally traded George Pickens. And then Omar said this one. He said, quote, "The Cowboys reached out during the week and we had some conversations internally and with George's agent, Dave. We discussed where things were with George, where they are and where things could go. We think it makes sense for everyone." I mean, you hear that, my thoughts immediately went, okay, they told George, you're not going to get a deal this offseason. We have signed DK Metcalf. Are you comfortable with that? George said, hell no, brother. Mason Rudolph's my starting quarterback right now. That's not going to get me the money I need. Either sign me or get me the hell out of here. And the Steelers said, great, we were planning on doing the second one anyways. That's how I took it, is that this thing was just a simple conversation of, George, you're not getting paid. That's great. And George going, fantastic. I'd like to leave. And then leaving. I'm not saying it was a trade request. I don't think it was. I think it was just a normal conversation of, this is where we are. What would you like us to do about it? And him saying how he felt in the matter. Do you feel any differently?
No, I think, and I might have read this wrong, but I think Omar Khan said explicitly that George never requested a trade.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, if that's the exact verbiage that he used when he was talking about that too, then I certainly believe that is the case. But yeah, I think they made their decision when they acquired DK Metcalf, and that was the guy that they were going to give all this money to. So at that point, I think it comes down to just like this classic Steelers decision of, if we're not going to pay him, do we just cut bait? And I think Omar Khan's approach has gone from, instead of just cutting someone when you're done with them, to just getting whatever the maximum trade value is. And this happened to be the 3rd round pick for Pickens. So yeah, I don't think it sounded like he was trying to not cover up, but to be a little, what's the right word? A little bit extra nice about the situation, trying to give a little more nothing like Omar Khan does. But yeah, it just seemed to me like there wasn't as much drama as maybe I was hoping there was behind the scenes.
I agree. I do think cover up is the exact words you should be using, because that's what he was doing, was saying, hey, look, the Cowboys called us, and that's where things started. The Steelers were calling people. Maybe the Cowboys called them, in that situation. But the Steelers were just as open in this situation as they were. I think they were more open. That's they essentially just expedited the process. They said, this is going to happen in July. We're going to have this conversation in July. Chances are it's not going to go well. George doesn't have trade value right now as it is. So that trade value is not going to go up later in the summer. It's going to go down. All right, let's have this conversation. Let's see what's going on. I bet you the conversation was quick, smooth. And George said, Dallas, you're saying no income tax when they signed me to a massive contract extension? Fantastic. I think I could do that. That's how I took that. Now, when it comes to replacing him, I think people will be very upset with this one. He said, quote, we wouldn't have done this if we didn't feel good about our receiver situation. It's not close to the same as last year. We've gotten another year in with these young guys and watched them develop. Roman Wilson's healthy. There's some excitement there. I will say this, that it is the same as last year. The Steelers are in no different shape whatsoever. The only difference is that they don't have a quarterback. And yes, I would take Robert Woods over Van Jefferson any day of the week, but sure. Roman Wilson is still a rookie. Calvin Austin is only getting 1 year older and more developed, obviously, but like the number 2, I don't really know about that one. And you've brought literally nobody in. I mean, I don't know. Do you try? We're hearing from the smokescreen himself, Omar Khan. You trust that things are chilling, or you think he's already moving?
I mean, this is where I just fully am just like not listening at all to what he's saying, because that can't be true. That cannot be something that when Omar Khan lays his head to rest tonight, he is not thinking, man, this receiving room is just chef's kiss wonderful. Because it's not. It's a very bad one. So I think he knows that. I think it would be tipping his hand way too much to be like, right now we are in a very dire situation and I'm turning over every stone to fix it, because that would just take away all of his leverage. So I think this was where all of the smoke screens were happening. And I was just kind of in one ear, out the other.
I agree. Like there's no chance that the Steelers are going to look. Omar's job, and he's getting really good at this. Omar's job right now is to save face. He's really good at saving face. He's phenomenal at it, but it doesn't mean that you could trust it right now. And I think in this instance, it's a good trust. It's a good can't trust. Nobody wants to sit here and say, oh, the Steelers aren't doing anything. They're just going to sit. No, they want everybody else to think our wide receiver room's fine. So when we call you and lowball you with an offer for some wide receiver, you don't think that we're desperate. That's what he's doing. There's literally no part of me that thinks Omar Khan is sitting around saying, yeah, we're good. We're in a good spot. This is going to be totally fine. I think here. Yeah, there's something coming. When it comes, I don't think it comes until after minicamp, but I do anticipate something coming at some point. Who, I don't know. We could dive into options for days, but where we sit here right now, I do think that the Steelers are actively looking for a wide receiver. I know a lot of people are going to ask me about the rookies. I will say that I did not see anything today from anybody to say that you are going to replace George Pickens, but I do think that, they're going to give it some effort. I've also heard this one today that I'll kind of toss out and end our agenda here with, because it's not on our rundown, but I think it's fun as we waste another 5 minutes here. So I got a phone call today. This is not George Pickens related, Omar Khan related. This is this whole other topic. Got a phone call today that said, hey, can you do me a favor? And I said, yeah, of course. Can you confirm that Colin Cowherd said that Aaron Rodgers isn't going to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers until after the schedule release because he doesn't want night games or something like that? I said, yeah, of course. I'll call you back in 5 minutes. So I already knew it was true, but I just, being courtesy, courtesy. You hang up, you say, all right, sounds good. And then you call back 5 minutes, say, oh yeah, just watched it again. It was great. They said, yeah, that's bullshit. I said, all right, sounds good. Sounds good. Now, this is a source close to both parties, I would say. Probably closer to Aaron's side than it is the Steelers side. And where we sit here right now, that is not the truth. But I will say, update on that is that, I think Aaron Rodgers is coming still right around minicamp OTAs, and I think a wide receiver is coming after that. Those are my new 2 predictions heading into this final phase.
I think that feels really logical right now. I think if that's the way they're going, it's going to end up being Rodgers and his buddy Alan Lazard coming over too. I think if at that point it's just going to be the full Aaron Rodgers show, and at that point let's just get into it. Just let them take over and go for it, because there's nothing else really on the docket for the offensive approach for heading into 2025. So I think
agree.
that doesn't sound that off your rocker right now. No, you really don't.
I think at some point it is going to happen. I think it's wild that everything moves so slow. Like, that's what I'm learning this offseason. I actually had a conversation about this last night, is that like everything that is happening, it's happening so slowly that you're hearing all of these things so early, so in advance. And then the Steelers don't do anything for like 3 months. And you're like, wow, that was, like George Pickens, like that trade was essentially done in January, and then it just floated. Aaron Rodgers, the same thing. Like, it's just floating here, and you're just going, what is going on? Wild times for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wild times. All right, that's everything on our agenda today. With that said, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to start answering all your questions. So make sure you toss them in the chat. We'll get to them as many as we can before we head out of here. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh, this one's for you. From the voices behind all Steelers talk comes black and gold apparel, your go-to for bold, fan-driven merch that reps the city, the Steelers, and everything in between. Whether you bleed black and gold or just love that Pittsburgh grit, we've got something for you. It's more than a podcast. It's a community. And thanks to your support, we're proud to bring the passion from our mics to your closets. Gear up, stand out, and show the world what real fans look like. Shop now at blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com.
All righty. Shout out to all of our members. Shout out to our super chatters. Can't thank you guys enough. With that said, we will start diving into them. Toss your questions in the chat. We'll get to as many of them as we can before we head out of here. We're going to start with the one and the only Stephen Cornfield. Is it fair to say, based on Con Man's words, that we aren't getting any more wide receivers, or are we being conned? Again, cough, cough. Also, Noah, Bud, need your email. Steven, hit me up at, you're the member. You're a member. So hit me up on the member email, and I'll hit you back. I'll look for it for sure. With that said, I think we're getting conned. I think, right? I think we're getting conned. Yeah.
We're in the middle of a con.
Yeah. I think that's where we're at here. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to end up with somebody. They're not, and maybe they do walk into the season with what they're looking at right now, but they're going to try to get somebody. They're not. I'll say this though. I don't think the Steelers are looking for a wide receiver 3. I don't think that they're looking for, somebody who, I don't think, like, Amari Cooper is a dangerous line to be walking. Keenan Allen, I think, is more so on the right side of the line, but Amari Cooper, Alan Lazard, Gabe Davis, like, you're looking at guys that are wide receiver 3s, 4s, that are at the end of the line, that you're looking, Calvin Austin's here, Roman Wilson's here, Robert Woods. We don't need another one of these guys. We need something more. I don't think the Steelers are looking for another Mike Williams. I think they learned from their mistakes. So I would say if it's going to be a move, it's going to be a splashy one. That's my guess.
It has to be. Otherwise, you're just doing more of the same, and it's just not going to help the football team at all.
Yeah, I agree. And at this point, the Steelers cannot be a team. You're in a place where you've already done this. You've already made the mistake. You can't make it again. You could make the mistake of walking in there and trusting the guys that you have and failing to get anybody else. But what you can't do is make a mistake and go get another Mike Williams. I don't think that's on the table. Marlon Lewis, do you expect the Steelers to continue to kind of rebuild, kind of win now mentality, or do you think they choose one or the other this year? I think this year they're in a full, we don't know what's going on, this is wild type of situation where we need to be all in. We're trying to win a Super Bowl, but at the same time, we can't be all in because our window doesn't open for 2 more years. So we're going to walk this really weird line. I expect that to be 2025 and then beyond. We're all in. Let's get it done. But this year, I mean, do you feel differently? I think it's a weird line they're going to walk.
Yeah, I think you're pretty on point here. I think 2025 is just the year of question marks. And if they start the year off all of a sudden hot, then great. They're like, this is exactly what we thought was going to happen. And we are, this is how we're building towards the championship in 2025. But then they're also giving themselves these little stop gaps or like safety check sorts of things where if they go 1-4, for example, in the first 5 weeks, they can be like, well, it's a retooling. It's part of that effort. We're switching in and out positions, finding those guys for the future. So I don't think they're ever going to I will state that I don't think the full rebuild, I don't think a huge Minka, TJ Watt level trade is going to happen in 25 or anything like that. Something huge like that would signify a rebuild. I don't think something like that is going to happen, but I think there's going to be a lot of flip-flopping back and forth question marks for the next couple months as the season starts.
I agree. Okay, they've lost enough. What's the line? Where's the line of this is an okay season even though they stunk? Where's that line?
Ooh. I think it's not necessarily a win-loss line. It's okay, maybe they lost 10 games, but does Will Howard start in the second half of the season? Or does Caleb Johnson run for 1,000 yards or get 1,200 yards from the line of scrimmage or something like that? Then, maybe a 10-loss season feels a little better. But yeah, the line isn't a win-loss record for me right now. It's individual performances dictating that.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I don't know what it would be. I agree with you, though. And when it comes to this, they will try to win this season. Is it going to happen? No, but they're going to try.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tony B. Gifted 1 All Steelers Talk membership. Appreciate you, Tony. And anybody who wants to become a member, you could do so, well, by claiming this or by checking out the link in the description below. Thank you to all you guys. Artisanal Bully Kennel. Well, what did Will say was the proper Yinzer spelling of his name? Also hearing some whispers about the Steelers asking about Tyreek Hill. I have not heard the whispers of Tyreek Hill, but we will look up the whispers of Steelers and Tyreek Hill because that is very interesting.
That's a difference maker.
Yeah. I don't know. It is all over the place. I will say Tyreek Hill to me is a guy that, would be awesome in Pittsburgh, but makes almost no sense. You've just traded George Pickens for Tyreek. What's going on here? What are you giving up for him? How much money do you have to pay him because he wants a new deal? He wants a restructured deal. He's getting injured a little bit. He's on the wrong side of 30. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Tyreek Hill's fantastic, but is that a name that you're at this point, if you're the Steelers right now, right here, is that who you're looking for?
No, not at all. And not to just echo what you're saying, but if the actual main goal of getting rid of Pickens was you reached an impasse in terms of contract talks and the character that he brought to the organization wasn't worth dealing with the headache for the next 6 to 8 months, then I'm not sure why you would do everything in your power to make that happen again 4 days later or something like that. So I can't deny the talent on the field, but if the goal is let's get all these guys proper business and nothing off the field, we want to worry about 0 distractions, then I think bringing in Tyreek Hill would be kind of counter to that objective.
Right. It's crazy to say that a player now here's the thing. If you traded George, because I think George is a little bit more of a headache than Tyreek Hill is. If you traded, which is wild to say, if if you traded George and went and got Tyreek and your quarterback was, I don't know, Arch Manning a year from now, or Drew Newsom a year from now, or whoever a year from now, makes so much sense. Go get the guy, go give your quarterback every weapon in the world. But you're trading for Tyreek Hill so that Aaron Rodgers gets to play with him for a season. Like, you're just not there. And then in a year from now, it's such big question marks. I don't know if Tyreek would be a name. I have not heard anything about Tyreek Hill. I don't think Tyreek, I mean, he was on their radar last year. I think it's early to be on his radar right now. As for Will Howard, dude, I jumped in. I was talking to Caleb Johnson. I turned around. Will Howard's talking, and I just sprinted right over. Didn't get to say anything after him. He has to go to, quarterbacks are crazy, but like their schedule's nuts. But all the rookies, all the drafted rookies had like some lunch meeting with Art Rooney, and you don't get to, when a PR guy is trying to take somebody to meet the boss, you don't get to interrupt, you know? So I'll figure it out. I plan on it. Don't worry. I will get you the Will Howard, but I apologize. It wasn't immediate. Shout out to Sean. Let's go. That's how I feel about this good old Friday podcast, as always. Cody Silva, the 2022 draft class was bad, and they're mostly gone. Shout out to Calvin Austin, who is surviving here, barely hanging on, but somehow might turn out to be. I'll say this: they weren't terrible. There were some, you know, like Nick Herbig ain't bad.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Herbig ain't bad. Was that 22? No,
so.
Herbig was 23, I believe.
Oh,
the 22 was Kenny, George, Calvin. I forget who the third round pick was. DeMarvin Leal.
Yeah. No, Cody's on to something here.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest. Definitely wasn't the greatest. I don't know. Calvin Austin. I mean, looking back, would you have guessed Calvin? I will say this. I would have guessed Kenny wasn't on the team. If you gave me a prediction back then and said, who's the last remaining rookie of this class, I wouldn't have said Kenny Pickett. I might have said George Pickens.
You know, Connor Hayward and Mark Robinson are still around. So, I mean, hey, it's all about the depth right now.
Who would have thought that the three worst guys outside of Calvin would be?
Do you remember wwho our last pick from the 22 class was? Well, I have
good old two-time Super Bowl champion Chris Oladokun. When they make a 30 for 30 on the 2022 NFL rookie or quarterbacks draft class, and how the Malik Willis Steelers scandal and Kenny Pickett nonsense and all of it went down, I hope they mentioned two-time Super Bowl champion Chris Oladokun. That's who I hope they mentioned in this one. Shout out Mark Robb, dude, who I think Carson Bruner kind of marks the end of that one. Connor Hayward might survive them all. Who knows? Calvin Austin might survive them all. Mm-hmm. I don't know if DeMarvin makes the team this year. That's a tough one. That's a crazy situation. Cody Silva, once again, could have traded GP for Jalen Ramsey. Would you rather Jalen Ramsey, or would you have rather the third round draft pick?
Honestly, a third round draft pick. I'm not interested in necessarily trading Pickens and then bringing in someone who is just demonstrated to be just not the easiest player to deal with throughout his entire NFL career. Talent is incredible. I just think if we're going to be consistent, let's keep the con man consistent, and let's stick to a certain type of player that they're trying to bring in.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like, that it wouldn't realistically happen. I don't like Jalen Ramsey has more than a third round value, but the risk you're going to play with that third round pick compared to, like, Jalen Ramsey might be done after the season. You know, he comes with a lot of money. Would it have happened? No. Do I like the hypothetical? I do like the hypothetical.
If they didn't have Darius Slay like already, I would maybe entertain that more.
Yes. For certain.
Yeah. Now you I wasn't there, but I like the idea, Cody. I really do.
Walter Gruden, I won't be on the chat much. I'm going to see John Cena for the last time tonight. I just want to give a shout out to this one, and a shout out to John Cena, man. What a run. What an absolute legend that guy is. I still remember to this day waking up at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, or acting like I'm sleeping, turning the TV on, and all the volume all the way down.
Yep.
And sitting there and looking for the lights for the footsteps so I could turn it off real fast if my mom came in the room. Yeah, shout out to John Cena, man.
He's
Shout
the
out
GOAT.
John Cena. The GOAT. To be cited, Enigma Noah, can I get a shout out for my wife and I celebrating our 10-year anniversary? We outlasted the 2015 draft class. Shout out to be decided, Enigma, and
That's great.
your wife. Happy anniversary to both you guys. Wishing you guys another 10, 20, 100 years of happiness, obviously. And you weren't competing with much. Let's start there. You weren't competing with much, but still, it is impressive, my friend. It is impressive. I got married in 24. You got married in 23, right?
Yep.
Ooh, who's the draft class? Who are you going to have to outlast longer than anybody, you think, in the 2023 draft class? There's
now there's the question right there.
There's the question. You got Broderick, Joey Porter Jr., Keanu Benton, Darnell, Nick Herbig.
Gosh.
You got a lot of them.
A lot. I'm gonna have to, as soon as I get off this, I think my wife and I are gonna have a real long talk about our 15-year plan here, because we got to get past Keanu Benton. We got to get past Joey Porter Jr. I mean, these are some anchors on the team. I think Joey Porter Jr. is probably going to be here the longest to give you a real answer to your question.
I was gonna say who's the last one? Joey Porter. That's a good answer. 2024 draft class would be Troy. Who else did Zach Frazier, dude? There's no chance I'm outlasting Zach Frazier, bro. He's going 15, 20. He might, if the way I outlast Zach Frazier. Sorry, babe. Love you. Jillian, if you're listening to this one. Big Joe, if you're listening to this one. Anybody in the family. It's a tough road here, okay? Zach Frazier's going to be around forever. Okay, that is an anchor of an offense. It's hard. And if Troy Fautanu stays healthy, tackles play till they're 60. Like they're.
No, I was gonna back you up completely. Love is eternal, and so are centers in the NFL if they're starting worthy. So how do you pick one?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it could happen. All right, Marlon Lewis here. I listened to the Will and Jack on Ben's podcast. I don't know if Will works, but man, he has the mentality similar to Josh, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, etc., who felt some type of way about being passed over. He does feel some type of way. I mean, how much you like that? And your quarterback, how important is that?
I love a competitive mindset. I mean, I think there's something to winners in the NFL specifically who have a very embellished or inflated sense of self and their ability and their trust in themselves. So if this is that extra little bit of fuel on the fire that motivates Will Howard to be productive in the NFL, fantastic. As long as it's not getting in the way or harming his teammates or casting some sort of craziness in the QB room, then I love that. Not that this is the same at all, but what made Kobe Bryant just unbelievable was that he was just constantly thinking about how to be better than his opponent at every single turn. So, if that's what gets you there, that's how winners are born in a lot of ways. So
I agree. I'm all about it. I think it's great, dude. That was I hope he could use that. That's my only knock on Will Howard being such a good, nice guy is Russ was a good, nice guy, but Russ could not. I don't believe Russ could fire up a football team. I just think he was too optimistic. He was in there going, guys, we're down 30 at halftime. No big deal. It's all right. We're good. The universe is working in our favor. Okay. It's gonna be a good day no matter what. That was Russ. And you were just like, that's not working, pal. That's not. TJ's in the corner literally slamming his head off of a locker trying to get fired up. And you're over here telling him that everything's fine. Don't say it. That's my only worry about Will. But I do this is Russ's was it was all meant to be. Will's is it should have happened way better than this, and I gotta make it work. I like that one. Business is booming. 19 Rock Taylor. That's all he says is Rock Taylor, and I know what he's asking here.
Did you see anything on him today?
No, nothing. That was the only problem with rookie minicamp is that there is literally nothing that happens. And today I expected something, but they didn't even throw the football. It was so nuts how little they did. I will say Rock Taylor's got the size, 6'2", 6'3", something like that.
Yeah,
he's all of it. Yeah, he's got the mass. He looks like a body. What excites me about him is the fact that he's able to come to OTAs and minicamp, and he's going to get those reps, and that's where we're going to see him. I wish I got to see more, but I know I'm letting a lot of people down on it. There just wasn't anything to watch today. It was crazy how, it's crazy how little they did today. Great. They've never done this amount of little ever. Like Ben Saul's got more work than some of these guys. Absolutely nuts.
Watch out, Boswell.
Yeah. Irresistible fan, love the show. Question: do you think Amari Cooper is a possibility to replace George? Heard he is not only a good receiver but a great person off the field as well. Would he be a good fit? I like Amari Cooper as a leader, as a veteran. I don't know if I think he's right on the line to me of you going to get Amari Cooper and you're feeling okay about Amari Cooper. Like, I just don't know if he adds enough to the team. Is he a wide receiver 2 in your eyes?
No, not anymore. The thing that excites me about Amari Cooper is that he can pass, or he can run block very well. So, again, like if the focus of the offense is going to be more on Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson, then maybe schematically it makes more sense to have someone like Amari Cooper, and you're not going to get that wide receiver 2 production, but you're going to get that quality scheme fit receiver, and maybe that just works better. So I mean, I wouldn't be against bringing him in. I wouldn't look at that move and say, wow, they solved the wide receiver depth issues in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
But it would be a good move.
I agree. Like it's a move that adds what you're looking for. I just don't know if that's where the Steelers are headed. Like, I don't know if the Steelers are looking at it going, we need another guy, which, I mean, maybe that's the way to go, is to just keep throwing darts at a board and hoping that one sticks and saying, all right, there it is, Amari Cooper. Woo! That's the one, like, it's better than not having any darts at all, I guess. I don't know. I'm a little tied up with the Amari older guys stuff. It just, to me, is, you're walking such a fine line of like another Van Jefferson, another Allen Robinson, another Robert Woods. And I don't know if you want that.
Right.
Cody Silva, everyone knows you can't see John Cena. Everybody knows you can't see John Cena. Shout out, my man. Shout out. Marlon Lewis, Noah, with the moves that have been made, do you think the Steelers are back to the hard work matters more than talent? Yes, I truly, truly do. I think the Steelers are back to punch you in the mouth, old school, hard-nosed football, and that's what they're looking to do. They're looking to run tough, run the damn ball, block hard, win the battle in the trenches. They're looking to be physical. They're looking to be a physical football team. It's the first time in so long the Steelers have a real identity. That identity is, we are going to be more physical than you. And that's fine. Like, that's a great identity to have. You're not going to beat Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to out-finesse Andy Reid. You can out-physical them all day long, and I think that could win. I'm a big fan of the hard work matters right now. The whole, we're looking for attitude type stuff. I think it works. Your thoughts on it?
100% agree. Yeah, I'm not sure if this was like a change of heart for Tomlin, or if this was like a directive from the top down, or however it came to be, but it seemed like in the last 6 to 12 months they are flipping this switch where it is less about best available, less about the most talented player and letting Coach T do his work to gel. It's more about, let's get these guys in here who want to just put everything in it on the field, and let's see if that yields a good result. And, you haven't had the best time. The Killer Bees were a great time. Didn't win a Super Bowl. Lots of prolific offense over the last 10, 15 years. No Super Bowl. So, I mean, maybe it is time to get back to that old mantra of just hard work, knock them down, punch them out football.
That's what I'm saying. This is the first time in a long time where the Steelers have said, okay, we're not going to be an offensive team. We're not going to be a defensive team. We're just going to be a physical team. You're going, oh, there it is. There it is. For a long time, they avoided one side of the ball or the other, one thing or the other. This is the first time, focus on the stuff that wins games. Let the rest of it come to you. I agree. I love it. Irresistible fan. Hey, Noah, as always, love the show. I called into the call-in show last Tuesday and left a message, but it didn't go through. Do I just leave a message in the voicemail, or did I do it wrong? You should be able to leave a message in the voicemail. If you try again and you aren't able to leave a voicemail, or even when you do leave a voicemail, shoot me an email and just say, hey, I left it. Can you see if it's there? And I'll definitely check for you. I apologize for that. I know that, technology comes with issues. So as always, we'll figure it out, but I appreciate you. ND Joe, if Trey was at rookie minicamp, doesn't it make sense that Roman Wilson will be there too? Roman Wilson has less yards than Trey in the NFL, more reps, the better, right? I agree, but Roman Wilson is not there. He is not a member that is practicing. Maybe he's there tomorrow. Maybe he shows up, but for the Steelers,
he's wide receiver too.
Yeah, it's like right now, it's like the rookie mini camps for guys who kind of need to. It's not reps. It's more so just like learning the basics. Who can impress with the playbook and that kind of stuff. Your physical attributes didn't get you to a rookie minicamp tryout. It's like we got to see what this guy does off the field. How does he impress us? And I don't think you're going to get more than that. So I agree. I think I like when guys are out there, but it's usually not a draft pick. So that's why Roman is not. TBD Enigma, any sense that the O-line, D-line coaches are on the hot seat after all the investing in acquiring talent to shore up the trenches? It's got to be where we start if things don't look like we expect. Carl Dunbar just signed a new contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I expect him to stay. He's also incredibly well respected in the NFL, so I don't think he's necessarily on the hot seat. He's got another 3 years at least. Pat Meyer, I believe, is entering the last year of his deal right now, and I would imagine he is very much so on the hot seat where we sit currently. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think just for the exact reasons that TBD Enigma lists off there, they have just invested so much time, so much resources into rebuilding the offensive line that I think if this isn't that dominant physical O-line like we're hoping it is in 25, then I think it's Pat Meyer's job to lose. Otherwise, it's just kind of a waste when you have Frazier, Fautanu, Jones. You have 3 anchors under 25 on your line. You got to figure out how to win at the line of scrimmage with those 3 guys.
I agree.
Yeah, Dunbar's safe in my mind, especially with the draft picks that they brought in this year. I think it's only going to help Dunbar's longevity because he's such a good D-line coach. But yeah, other side of the ball, very much going to be on the hot seat.
I agree. Justin Gordon, Colin Coward, whose ass is on us constantly, made a good point. Top pass rusher gone, top rusher gone, top wide receiver gone. How does any of this equal win now? I think the outlook the Steelers have, and I'm not saying I agree with it or not. I'm just saying that the outlook I have on how I believe the Steelers view this is they looked at George Pickens, Russell, very differently. Let's say that George Pickens, Russell Wilson, and Najee Harris were in very different boats. I would say Russ and Najee were in one boat. George's was in another. George's boat was culture. We needed to fix this. We needed to be in a better spot culturally in our locker room. We need to have less distractions. That was the George side. The Russ and the Najee thing, I think, was the Russ and Najee could get us here, but we need to be here. And how do we get here? How do we take a shot at here? And I think Caleb Johnson gives you that shot. I think they wanted to see what Jaylen Warren could do. I don't think that they thought Aaron Rodgers was the upgrade over Russ, but I think they thought Justin Fields was, and that they weren't willing to go with Russ because of some of the stuff that he caused off the field. I just think that they looked at it and said, okay, we're here. How do we get to here? How do we take it the step forward? Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I feel something similar here. It's the reading just that sentence from Justin there, top passer, top rusher, top wide receiver gone, feels like the end of the world. Of course you don't.
Yes.
You're not better just based off that statement. But when you think about it and break it down a little bit more, like, yes, Najee was a perennial 1,000-yard rusher.
Yes.
Was he one of the best 12 running backs in the league? I don't think so. So it's like, okay, you lost a good running back. You didn't lose the top running back. You lost Russell Wilson, who's in the twilight of his career and is going to have a really hard time succeeding with the Giants if he does at all. So like, what, that's not a huge loss either. Yes, there's no replacement. The quarterback situation's still not good in Pittsburgh. I'm not defending that at all. But, the only real loss to me in terms of making the team worse is Pickens, because he was just so talented and he was a true top wide receiver. So I don't think a lot of their moves suggest they are going all in on the championship in 25, but I don't think it's as cataclysmic as that sentence might kind of give off.
What a word, dude. And I believe it sums it up perfectly. Like, that's where the Steelers are right now, is they're preparing for a brighter future, they have to, it comes with big changes in the big three biggest positions, the flashiest positions. Doesn't always look good, but sometimes it gets results. Berg fan Noah, we have your back. I am a regular caller on MTC Afternoon Call-In Show on NFL Radio. I am putting AST out there to help you grow. Hey, dude, thank you so much. That's awesome, Berg fan. I can't thank you enough. If you shoot me an email and let me know it's you in the members email, I'm bump you up to. I'm gonna make sure I give you a call, man. I appreciate you guys. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Justin's coming back. I think waiting on AR is crazy because I don't see one game he wins that Russell Wilson lost in our 6-game slide last year. Am I wrong? I don't think that you are wrong. I really don't. That's my biggest thing is like, I'm not a Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson guy. I think both of them are old, and I don't think either of them are winning you a Super Bowl. I think Aaron Rodgers gives you a better opportunity to make that run than a Mason Rudolph or a Will Howard. I think the Russ thing was just, it's stale. They tried it. It didn't work. Let's try something else. It's throwing darts at a dartboard. That's what they're doing. They're spitballing ideas to see if they could get something to work because the last one didn't. That's how I think they look at this. That's how I look at this is you tried Russ, didn't work. All right, let's try Aaron Rodgers and see if that one works. Is it gonna? No, I doubt it, but you're waiting for next year, right? You think differently?
No, I agree. I don't think Rodgers would have fared any better in that gauntlet that was December last year. So I don't see. I think Justin has a great point there. But yeah, I just think they want something different, and I think they have nothing else to hope in terms of a starting quarterback. Like, they are the most desperate person at the dance, waiting for someone to ask them.
I agree. Drew Payne meant to put this with super chat. I don't think we'll be getting Alan Lazard. Deshaun Elliott tweeted that he was asked. In case you missed it, he posted it on Instagram. I thought it was hilarious. I'm going to guess that Deshaun Elliott and Alan Lazard know each other, just like Deshaun Elliott and Aaron Rodgers knew each other when he posted that one. Deshaun is the ultimate troll, man. I don't know if he learned it from Marlon Humphrey. I don't know if it's just because Deshaun Elliott is the villain and it's awesome. You don't even know this. Deshaun has, every time we post something on Instagram or social media about Deshaun Elliott being a victim or being a villain, he likes it every single time, dude. He loves it. He loves it. That's who he is, man. He is. I still don't. I think they know each other. That would be my guess. But we'll see. I love Deshaun Elliott, man. He is my favorite guy on the roster. I will, outside Calvin Austin's, friend of the show, obviously, but besides that, good stuff.
Love him.
Tim Hooper. Hey, Noah, love your work from Australia here. You helped me through my morning. Sorry. Is there any talk of signing more depth for our offensive line? First off, shout out. I don't know what time it is there, but I'm glad that I'm helping you through a day. Get that coffee going. I don't know if it would be Saturday in Australia. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's Thursday, dude. Who knows? Shout out to Tim, bro. I hope you're enjoying it. Any talk of signing more offensive line depth? No. The Steelers are pretty comfortable where they're at right now. They'll get into July and things will start changing. But for right now, where they sit, Calvin Anderson's their backup swing tackle, and you got Max Sharping and Spencer Anderson and Ryan McCollum as your interior guys. I don't think much is gonna change as we sit here right now. Want to jump to Carlos too. Hey, Noah, love the show from Hungary. Crazy international day here. What about the wide receiver Taylor that was invited to rookie minicamp? What did you think of him? Again, didn't see much of him, but wanted to highlight. Shout out you, man. Shout out to all you guys for jumping in the chat today. Jim D got a feeling Watt is next. Would totally be a con move to trade TJ. Con sucks. Okay, I have a two-parter. I'll react to TJ. I got a question for you. I don't think TJ would ever be traded by the Pittsburgh Steelers ever. Omar Khan loves TJ Watt. He's made it very known that TJ is a one helmet guy, and that's one of them you could believe. Some stuff you can't believe. That one you could believe. Every conversation I've had with a source or anybody in that building or anything ends with or starts with TJ's not going anywhere. Okay, he's not going anywhere. Do you think Khan is starting to look like an enemy after some moves this offseason?
Ooh, right now the feelings are intense right now. There is like a palpability of just like Omar Khan's like the he can do no wrong status has just sort of been wiped away by the last couple of months, and I'm not quite there yet. But I mean, from Jim D's comment alone, like there is some pushback happening here. So I'm not sure if I'm fully in that boat yet, but I can see how you can be, upset with the moves. I would be so shocked if TJ Watt ever gets traded. I really do think they're going to sign him to like a monster extension before this is all over. But
I agree. I 100% agree. There's no chance that he goes anywhere. I expect him to stay here, get a boatload of money. But it'd be interesting. All right, we're going to end it on this one because yesterday I teased this and today I dropped it in the comment and teased it again. ND Joe, big announcement coming today. Possible new co-host. Yes. With that said, I am very excited. Have been very excited. There's been a search, a little bit of getting to understand everything that's going on and how this space works and if I'm missing stuff that I could do better for you guys and so on and so forth. And what I've come to the conclusion is I need somebody who is kick-ass at this, who continues to grow as I grow, and who is excited to become part of the AST family. And with that, Jacob Punturi is my new co-host of All Steelers Talk and will begin to be my daily co-host at All Steelers Talk starting, today. But we'll kick off a new regime on Monday. Jake, I'm super pumped. I mean, this. We've been talking. I'm super excited to have you join all of us as we get things going. There's a lot of growth in front of us, and I'm super excited to do it. I'm sure everybody else is too. I want to give you the floor here. Welcome, my friend.
Thanks, buddy. It is truly an honor to be here. I'm pumped to interact with everybody more, to get to know everyone's, thoughts on the team, to talk Steelers with Noah. I've been bugging Noah for a couple of years, writing for him and talking sports with him. He's the best. So I'm pumped that I get to be talking Steelers with you on a daily basis a little bit more than we already do. So yeah, man, I'm pumped to be here, pumped to go out on the weekend here with this nice news and, all Steelers talk, baby. We're going to do some cool things.
We are going to do a lot of cool things. I'm excited to continue to grow this thing and us getting moving. We've got some, some changes that are going to come. We're going to dive into a couple of things, and I'm very excited to get things rolling. So welcome. Me and you have talked. We've been talking, but for everybody else watching, it's exciting stuff coming to All Steelers Talk. And with that, I'll let everybody soak it in as we head into the weekend. We are heading out of here. Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I could finally say this because I've been saying us for months without an us on here. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And as always, find all of our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. With that said, enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.